Hi there, my name is Will, and welcome to the Point of Pride channel. Here you will find information, stories, and support for the transgender, gender non-conforming, or non-binary community, and definitely information for allies as well. Today's video was filmed up in Kalamazoo, Michigan, where I met my friend Davison, who is a mental health clinician, therapist working with youth and families, and also works with a lot of trans-identified clients. We spent the afternoon talking about dysphoria, and she shared some of her experience with dysphoria as she heard it through kind of the lens of her clients. Now, we all know that we each experience dysphoria in a different way, so this conversation is based on sort of some experiences out of the many valid ways that people experience dysphoria. These are some of those experiences. So, thank you so much for watching. Thumbs up if you liked the video. I'd love to hear more about the kinds of things that you want to see videos made about, so definitely leave that information in the comments if you'd like to pass it along. Check out the Point of Pride website and check them out on social media as well. Their information is going to be listed in the description. You're welcome to also check out my channel and my social media. That's listed below as well. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you soon. Take good care. Bye.
So introduction. So my name is Davison Nicholas. I used to say a trans woman from Kalamazoo, Michigan. I do use she, her pronouns, but I'm dabbling with non-binary philosophy. I'm just trying to figure that out. So I live in Kalamazoo, Michigan. I'm 41 years old. I am a mental health clinician working with youth and families, and I try to specialize in trans folks when given the opportunity.
So we had talked about dysphoria. Maybe you could start by just talking like ways that you see, are there any commonalities in dysphoria that you see presenting for lots of people in different situations?
Yeah. And it's interesting, as a therapist, I get a good perspective of the patterns of people's beliefs. So if I need to classify, we'll say trans femme and trans masc, right? Anybody I've met who is thinking about transitioning with estrogen towards more of a feminine what have you, there's always this insecurity of, I have these big shoulders, I'm too tall, look at these feet, I'm never going to find shoes that fit these feet. People are just going to know. And it's very clear the issue is one of comparison. People are going to see other women, they're going to see me, I'm not going to measure up. So not the same points, but in trans masc folks, it's, I hate how short I am. Look how small my hands are. My voice is high. Now for those folks, I can say, well, testosterone's a hell of a drug. Your voice will drop.
Yeah.
You will get more muscular, you will fill out. You will not get taller. Into the trans femme folk, you're not going to get shorter. But so that's what it always comes back to. There's this idea of norm, and I'm absolutely not within that definition, so I'm flawed.
Where does that come from? Like, where does that dysphoria come from? Where do we get that? Like, what are we fighting against?
I mean, that's a big question. So let's say there's external and there's internal. I am a person who believes that gender is a socially constructed way of defining characteristics, but that those characteristics are coming from some internal drive or internal desire. I'm not going to call that desire or drive gender, but I'm going to say that the appearance and behavior that manifests is what we call gender. So if we see that socially, our brains are designed to create these binaries. That's why we think about fat and skinny, or black and white, or ugly, pretty. Well, we think of men and women. And with that, we apparently have some idea in our head that a man looks like whoever. I mean, Idris Elba, let's say, my personal favorite. Or, a woman's supposed to look like, I don't even care who, somebody. If we don't, we've kind of swallowed the pill of marketing and social normalcy in the country, in our society, our culture. I'm a failure. I don't measure up. The internal piece to me is just much more like dastardly, because people are already programmed for insecurity. In this society, we say you're supposed to be self-assured and confident. But if you say, I'm good at things, you're arrogant, and you're punished for that. And so you're constantly given these dual messages of do more but do less. Like yourself but don't love yourself, So I try to tell people, we can never hope to control 8 billion people. What I can control is how much I allow these thoughts to affect my sense of self. Because thoughts are just not even airwaves. It's just an idea. And I'm choosing to let it cripple my ability to self-actualize. No thank you.
We have this idea that the things that our brain says are true.
And I always say, just because I feel it doesn't make it true.
Yeah. What are ways that folks can look at that and like maybe learn to like coax that down a little bit?
I see dysphoria as, do I accept or not accept my physical form? Self. And then when I enter social space, are people going to accept my physical form in me, or am I going to be able to accept their treatment of my physical form?
Yeah.
Which to me is more of a social anxiety component, but it's certainly driven by your degree of self-acceptance, right?
Yeah.
So the higher degree of anxiety you have, or lack of acceptance in yourself, or you don't find yourself attractive, or part of your self-story is you tell yourself that you're not a real man or woman until you X, Y, and Z. Of course that's going to affect your anxiety level, because you don't even believe in yourself, so why would you expect anybody else to? So that coaxing piece is tricky. I honestly think that there doesn't have to be any coaxing if you work clearly on a self-understanding and there's a full self-acceptance. Now that's a high order. That takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
So the coaxing piece for me can be stuff like, in my therapy, I do a thing called rational emotive behavior therapy. It's a piece of cognitive behavior therapy. So it's all about how you form your cognitions. REBT is very specifically focusing on language use, but more like, how do I motivate myself? How do I empower myself, let's say. So for me, I am of the belief that an event occurs, I walk into a yoga studio, we usually are trained to think, and I have anxiety, which is true. But there's a cognition that happens in the middle. This stimulus made me think people are going to look at me and make fun of me, and here comes my anxiety. But I think it's important to do these breakdowns and remind ourselves, this is a space where you're not in danger. You may feel that, like you were saying, but feeling it doesn't make it true.
Right.
So I think there is a lot of chipping away to be done. But I think a lot of it is just reminders. It's almost like having two brains. There's the anxious one that's trying to maintain the status quo, and then there has to be more of an empowered, kind of logical one that butts in and says, is that valid right now?
Yeah.
Do we need to be governed by that right now? If my idea is to be here, stable and secure and emotionally like on top of my game, but part of me keeps wanting to flake out over into this, but what if people don't like you? My job is to come back to here and remind me, I don't need everybody to like me. It'd be nice, but I'm a mouthy person and I'm never going to have very many people like me, let alone all of them. Nor do I need them to. I want millions of dollars. I don't need them. I want to look like Laverne Cox with less melanin. I'm not going to, and that's okay. Because I'm not reliant on external validation for me to feel value. But so that can all get whittled down to these statements of, and you have to believe in it.
Yeah.
My anxiety's kicking up. I'm feeling ugly. I'm feeling fat. You can either tell yourself you're not. You may not believe that. Or you can say, that's a comparison. I'm me, and I look exactly like me. I may not look like that person, but they don't look like me. So one, to me, would be to start with your attention to the things around you.
Yeah.
Does everybody here look alike? Does every woman in this room look exactly alike? What I'm doing is upsetting the apple cart by teaching people to respect themselves and to expect respect from other people. And so it all comes to me from a place of, I am a person, I deserve the same good stuff as everybody. Would I expect anybody else to be okay with being ostracized? I wouldn't. So I'm not okay with it for me. Come back to this place. I don't have to impress anybody. I'm me. I don't have to convince anybody of that.